Hi everyone, welcome to Indicator Lab, and today I'm going to present you guys our newest update about stock market. First, I need to give you guys an update about our platforms. Actually, we already made significant upgrade of the platforms, and the logic we believe is less is more. So basically, we simplify the user interface, and there are three major updates. First, we moved the thumbnails, the small visualize of the indicators, to the front page, which means much easier to see what is the current trend of each indicators. Second, we support strategy selection for our end users so that you can selecting the short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategy very easily from here. Third, in the bottom right corner, we highlight what is the tradable region, what is the confidence threshold, and the future return, projected returns direction. Previously, it was actually a gray bar, but right now we highlight that based on the threshold that user or creator assigned, that can really help the user make the final decision based on all the historical projection. And here is the algorithms upgrade. From the backend, we significantly improved our algorithms. There are two major updates. First is about the pattern matching. So we improved the resolution of the pattern matching. So right now, you can see the bottom, the similarity plot. Every shape have a very sharpened peak. So which means that you can really using the system to narrow down which day that history is repeat itself. So basically, we improve the resolution to make our historical projection much easy to identify the historical pattern. Second, actually we improved the AutoML algorithms. So right now, all the parameters of our system are tuned automatically by AI. In terms of what parameters, actually the AI tuned the weight, the length, the threshold, the projection length, and the confidence. Concretely, you can view the weight and length of each indicators very easily from the selection bar. And then you can see the weight and length, for example, after we use the AutoML algorithms, the weight and length can be tuned in a much finer granularity level than previously. Previously, you can see if we tune by analyst at hand, the weight and length can be very general, very broad, but later on when we tune by the algorithms, the weight and length can be very, very specific. And let's give a very general market overview. We don't want to give a very kind of like specific review because our indicators say everything. So here we only want to highlight that what are the current market trend and what indicators might be useful. First, we observe that the current market condition is very different from 2020 and 2021. Why? Because volatility is extremely high. There's no significant trend to go up or down. So basically, you need to do a very good swing trading. And the trend reversal trading is in favorite, which means that you need to ride the oversold or overbought this kind of phenomenon. But the problem is that how to decide oversold or overbought, and is that a true oversold or it is a fake one? Just let you to basically put your money in and then the stock will go down again. And there's another thing is that the bond yield is a good indicator of the stock market. You can see recently the UK has a bond crisis, and then the yield of the 10-year go up and down. So actually that is a very good indicator of the stock market, but problem is that how you can combine the bond yield information with the trend reversal information and also with the market volatility, this kind of like a little bit micro information. How you can combine these three information together, that is really challenging, and I didn't see a very good way to combine this previously. So in our platform, right, the one critical service we provide to our users is that we let them to upload indicators, and our system helps them select and aggregate indicators in an accurate and explainable way for all level investors. So how we did it? We basically upload around 30 indicators to the platforms, and the platform automatically select and weight important indicators. All the indicators have been grouped into 3 big categories. First is about bond pattern, the second is about market condition, and third is about oversold or buy behavior indicators, which is about RSI. That is very interestingly because all the indicators are selected fully automatic by the algorithms. Let's go into each of the group one by one. The first group of indicators the AI selected are bond indicators. Actually, they covers the short-term bond, the high-yield corporate bond, and also the IEF, the iShares 7 to 10 year Treasury bond ETF. So actually, they can be put into 3 specific ETFs, and they cover both the long-term and relatively short-term. For example, the TIPS, which is the Treasury note, which is relatively shorter than 10 years, and the HYG, basically the high-yield corporate bond. Someone also called it the junk bond because the yield is pretty high and the corporate is under strong risks. And then previously, I didn't pay much more attention on this because this kind of things has been there for a long time. But very interesting, after the AI selecting these 3 bonds, we found out like the bond is really good leading indicators than the stock market. You can see like the IEF, HYG, and TIP. This kind of like a trend recently compared to SPY. That's a very good leading indicator, right? This kind of like a long-term bond, they kind of peak several days earlier than the stock market peak, and then this kind of like high yield growth bond and this kind of like bond ETF also peaks like 1 or 2 days ahead of the stock market. So that is very interesting because that you can using them as a very good leading indicator to see what the stock will going to happen a few days later on. So the algorithms very intelligently pick up them, which is pretty cool. And the second thing the AI picked is called market conditional indicators. So that actually helps the algorithms to partition the whole trend of the stocks into 8 categories. The first is the volatility, second is the volume, and third is the price. So actually, when we upload indicators, right, we really want the system to able to identify what kind of market condition right now is in. Is that in high volatile, high volume, or the price is moving towards or above the 5-day SMA price. So that is something like we really care because that really help the system to judge what kind of like strategy or policy it will going to adopt in a specific market condition. For example, we use an RSI, right? But the RSI may be used differently if stock is already higher than the normal trading volume. So basically, you can see the market condition provides the system a very easy way to treat this kind of like oversell or sold indicators in a conditional manner. So that is really help the system understand what is the current market based on this kind of like 3 market condition indicators. And the third actually is the main thing we really need to talk about is RSI. The RSI is a way to measure the oversold or overbuy, this kind of like phenomenon. So you can think this is a market behavior indicators, and the traditional way of using the RSI is based on whether it passed the overbought threshold, which is 70, or it is under the oversold threshold, which is about 30. But we found that like if you're using this, right, in many cases it's really hard to judge because the RSI can go below or above the 30 or 70 for multiple days. So you don't know which is the specific day the market will go on or going up or going down. Yeah, the trend will go on or not. So basically, we need to use some more advanced way. So from our platform, as many of the users already know, we're using the pattern matching. So basically, we're selecting multiple days, for example, 9 days or 6 days as a window, and then we're using a very interesting pattern matching algorithms to find what historical window that's very, very similar to the current window and then using that to measure the historical similarity. And we actually using the RSI to project what future will look like based on the similarity of RSI in the history. For example, if there's another window that's similar to this days, right? We see, for example, let's say here, we see the pattern of that window, and then we using the several days after this kind of RSI pattern happening, for example, this kind of peak pattern of RSI, to using the trend after the similarity of RSI happening to project what the future look like based on the history. So basically, you can see there's a downturn after RSI is picked by itself, and then we basically think that the future will going down based on historical projection. So that idea. So here we using three this kind of windows. Each window actually is lasts for 9 days. The second window lasts for 6 days, and third window we use an open price of RSI and lasts for 8 days. So that is actually the how we using RSI to help the system making the decision. And here basically we see the kind of like a screenshot showing what is the specific way we make the decision, right? Basically using all the 9 indicators we previously mentioned to measure the historical similarity. And then you can see there are 2 days that we think very similar to the day. First day is the 2020. Each of the indicators actually show up how similar that day compared to the day. Here is the similarity score, right? And then that day you can see most of the indicators are similar. For example, the NATR, this kind of binary historical condition indicator, the market volatile, and then the SMA, the simple moving average indicators also show that that day is similar. And also we can see the bonds indicator is similar, and also the RSI. So history say that like this day, March 12, it's very similar for now. So which means the market has not going, down for a significant level already and went there, but there's still like a space to going down. Yeah. So there's like we still like not there yet. Another actually the system measures similarity it basically is on July 1st, 2008. And that day you can see like multiple indicators are very similar to that day, and then you can see like what happened in 2008, right? The market is going down like later on, and we are still not there yet, even from the short-term perspective. Okay, so here is the how we make the decision based on the historical pattern matching. And finally, we give you guys the deliverables, right? The backtesting results. So here actually we make a 4-year backtesting. We haven't done this before. So and previous indicator cannot do well in a 4-year backtesting. But right now you can see after we modify our algorithms, the results is pretty encouraging, especially in the final parts in 2022 when the market is going down, right? The indicators still maintain a very high growth rate and even higher than previous this kind of growth. So that means that our algorithm can basically utilize this kind of like market downturn pretty well, and they can really trade in the volatile market based on the 9 indicators we previously selected by the AI. So actually this will show up that like in a volatile market, right, our combination of indicators may give you a very good historical projection of the future based on similarity. And right now, this strategy is fully available by our users, and you can easily access this strategy by go to SPY30Y in our platform, and then the default strategy actually is this strategy what we deployed. Great, thank you everyone for this update, and see you next week. Thanks a lot.